Hello, good evening, and welcome to another edition of the Big Nerd Pub Quiz, coming to you live from the Elk Media Studios here in Warrenpoint, County Down. And I've tried something a little bit different tonight. I've decided to put on the lights of the studio. Don't know why. Thought that would make things a little bit more interesting. Now it looks as though you're having a very, very psychedelic experience with tonight's quiz. Hope you're all well. I might actually just turn that off, to be honest. Yes, it's been a very, very interesting week and very, very interesting day for me. I have to say, with my new company, we landed our very first client. So yes, we're all very, very excited here at the Elk Studios in Warrenpoint. So I am going to turn those lights off in a bit. I'm going to just take pause for like 5 seconds, run over, turn them off, and then come straight back. But in the meantime, this is Big Nerd Pub Quiz, Monday, the 17th of May. It's getting very, very trippy here. And we're going to play the quiz tonight. Nice 8 rounds, as always. Test your knowledge and see how you get on. I am going to move over very quickly to turn these things off. In the meantime, here's the QR code for you to play tonight's quiz. Get ready. I'll be back in 2 seconds. Yes, indeed. That's much, much better. Like I said, yes, if you've played the Big Nerd Pub Quiz before, you'll need no introduction about how it all works. But in case you haven't, all you have to do is scan the QR code with your phone, open the Google Form answer sheet, and copy the link from the YouTube description below on a laptop. Pop it open. You'll see an option to enter your team name. I did remember it this week. An email address is also required to submit the form. 8 rounds, 6 questions each, only 1 correct answer per question, and there's no trick questions. Answer the questions as I ask them. You'll have an option of up to 4 answers per question in the multiple choice. Once the quiz is over, all you have to do is press submit, and you'll get your scores, but do stick about till the very end to see how you've all done, and I'll be announcing the winners at the very, very end of tonight's quiz. Best of luck. Like I said, Big Nerd Pub Quiz on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, as well as Twitch, our new platform as well. So do hit us up on all the different social media sites. If you would like a shout out at some point, don't forget to like and share the quiz with all your friends. Don't forget, you can support the Big Nerd Pub Quiz by donating to the Patreon or the PayPal. For as little as £1, you can become a supporter of the quiz. Massive thank you to everyone out there who's been doing that for the last year and 2 months now. You can hire Big Nerd Pub Quiz for private events. It's the perfect activity for social distancing. It's fully customizable with questions and graphics. Very affordable and easy to set up. If you want more information, get in touch with me, bignerdpubquiz@gmail.com. Don't forget, you can play all these former quizzes in YouTube. Check out all the different links there. I've done everything from Star Wars, Disney, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. I genuinely can't believe it's been over a year now since we've been doing these. It's absolutely amazing. The first specialty one was the Star Trek one, as you can see, on the 13th of April, 2020. Well beyond that now. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. As you can see, a little less manic now here at the studio. But yes, Country throwing a couple of ideas out there last week about what I'm going to do with the quiz going forward now that we're really kind of coming out of lockdown, and I hope for the last time. And I am considering doing the quiz now once a month as opposed to like once every week. I've got a full-time business now, which I'm running here, and it's going pretty well. We landed our very first client today, a whiskey company, Baja Whiskey. I should be plugging them. It's available abroad. It's a brand new Irish whiskey. It's very, very tasty stuff, and it's getting sold in Spain and hopefully the United States as well. It's an Irish whiskey which is meant to be marketed abroad. But yes, we landed the contract to do the advertisement for that, which is very, very exciting. It's going to keep us going for at least a year in terms of the revenue stream. But anyway, thank you very much for joining me. Let me know what you think. Do get in touch. And I've got a little tentatively some more news, which I'm going to share with you online at some point. But anyway, we're not going to waste any more time. We're going to get on with tonight's quiz. Test your knowledge, as always, on the Big Nerd Pub Quiz. Love you all, as I said. And moving on, it's general knowledge. It's our first one. If you've you've been playing these all the time, you'll know the pattern by now. It goes general knowledge, music, movies or TV, history and politics, sport, and then 2 kind of random ones followed by a picture round. So yes, big quiz on tonight. So plenty of stuff to test your knowledge. Some easy ones, some hard ones. But anyway, here is tonight's third, like I said, the general knowledge quiz for this evening. Let's see how you get on with this. Round 1, question 1. Best of luck with this. So, here's your first one. Dave Bautista, former WWE wrestler, now actor, stars in which upcoming zombie Netflix film? That's Dave Bautista. Dave Bautista, round 1, question number 1. So that's round 1, question number 1. Dave Bautista, massive guy, stars in which upcoming zombie Netflix film? And I'm looking forward to see it. So round 1, question number 1. Round 1, question number 2. Satya Nadella is the current CEO for which tech giant? That's round 1, question 2. I have to say, of all the questions I do, these are actually quite tricky to come up with because you kind of have to troll the news for stuff which is not really controversial and kind of safe. But yes, Satya Nadella is the current CEO of which tech giant? That's round 1, question 2. Round 1, question 3. On this day, 121 years ago, The Wizard of Oz was published. Who was its author? So who wrote The Wizard of Oz? The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. It's round 1, question 3. Famously made into a film in 1939 starring Judy Garland. Wonderful musical. But yes, round 1, question 3. The Wizard of Oz, published on this very day, 121 years ago, 1900. Who was its author? Next up, round 1, question 4. Who won Best Group at this year's 2021 Brit Awards? Ironically, this was the last job I had before I came home from COVID, and I was actually working at the Brit Awards in London. It was the last. It was the last ever proper job I had before COVID hit, and it was the last gig I was actually at. All the way back in late February 2020. But the Brit Awards 2021, who won Best Group at this year's event? Next up, round 1, question 5. The most watched football match of the season so far, this year's FA Cup final. It was a thriller. Loved the second half. But Yuri Telemans scored the winner in Leicester City's FA Cup win at the weekend. Which country does he represent internationally? So that's round 1, question 5. Round 1, question 5. So Yuri Telemans scored absolute screamer. If you haven't seen it, definitely worth a watch. Scored the winner in Leicester City's FA Cup win at the weekend. Which country does he represent internationally? And finally, a little bit closer home for me, this one. But which politician became the new leader of the Democratic Unionist Party in Northern Ireland this week? Bit of a surprise one, this. I suppose if you follow Northern Irish politics. Round 1, question 6. DUP, lovely bunch of lads. But which politician became the new leader of the DUP following the resignation, or rather the ousting of the previous leader, Arlene Foster? That's round 1, question 6. There's a roundup of your questions all about general knowledge. So yes, David Bautista stars in which upcoming zombie Netflix film? This looks really good. I'm really looking forward to see it. Satya Nadella is the current CEO of which tech giant? It's number 2. 3. On this day, 121 years ago, The Wizard of Oz was published. Who was its author? 4. Who won Best Group at this year's 2021 Brit Awards? 5. Yuri Telemans scored the winner in Leicester City's FA Cup win this weekend. Which country does he represent? And 6. Which politician became the new leader of the Democratic Unionist Party, the DUP, in Northern Ireland this week? A couple of seconds there. Give you some time to catch your breath and we'll move on to the next round. Alright, it is that time of year now. It is May, which means Eurovision's coming up at the weekend. I'm really looking forward to it. It's first live one since they cancelled it last year, and like, I'm a massive Eurovision fan, has to be said. Like, you know, I make no bones about that at all whatsoever. So here it is, Eurovision questions, all about music and the competition. The Eurovision Song Contest. Let's test your knowledge on the biggest song contest in the world. Love it or loathe it. It's a great round for quiz writers like myself. Let's test your knowledge on the Eurovision. So here we go, round 2, question number 1. Which country hosted the first ever Eurovision Song Contest all the way back in 1956? Yes, the Eurovision was actually set up by the European Broadcasting Commission as a way to kind of connect the countries of Europe post-World War II. Considering like 10 years after World War II, and they were beaming television pictures into everybody's homes. People singing, getting along. Has led to the revolution, what it is today. It's not the most kind of revolutionary in terms of music, but I do love it. It is wonderfully camp. But yes, which country hosted the first ever Eurovision Song Contest in 1956? Next up, round 2, question 2. Another one close to home here. But which Irish performer is the only person to win a Eurovision 3 times? Twice as a singer and once as a songwriter. That's round 2, question 2. As we would say, Eurovision royalty. Ireland, when it comes to the old song contest, total heavyweights, however, haven't really lived up to expectation and standard, having last won the competition all the way back in 1996, I believe. Round 2, question 2. Which Irish performer is the only person to win the Eurovision 3 times, twice as a singer and once as a songwriter? Round 2, question 3. Hard rock band Lordi secured a surprise victory for which country in 2006? So that's round 2, question 3. Yep. Total left field. Just goes to show you anything goes in this song contest. I think because it was so outrageous, it had to win. It couldn't lose. I remember this one very well. But round 2, question 3. The band Lordi, hard rock band, secured a surprise victory for which country in 2006 with the song Rock Hallelujah? That's round 2, question 3. Next up, round 2, question 4. Which Australian singer represented the UK in 1996 with Ooh Ah Just a Little Bit? Probably one of the better songs. Comment was just going to bug me there. But which Australian singer represented the UK in 1996 with Ooh Ah Just a Little Bit? And again, didn't win it. Didn't win the actual song contest. Cracking tune. Very memorable. It's one of those best songs not to ever win it. That's round 2, question 4. Round 2, question 5. And yes, arguably it was the song contest that launched the careers of one of the biggest bands in the world. But round 2, question 5. How many points did the UK give ABBA in 1974? The competition was famously wowed by pop sensations that were ABBA, that became globally recognized after this. And their song was Waterloo back in 1974. But how many points did the UK give to ABBA all the way back in 1974? Kind of started a trend for kind of singers and bands with like 2 male, 2 female singers. Because I think Brotherhood of Man in 1976 for the UK and Bucks Fizz again, you know, similar kind of setup. But like, I suppose if kind of you figure if it's a winning formula that year, it might be a winning formula the next year. Anyway, next up, last question. Sure, hard to replace, but had to happen But in which year did Graham Norton take over from Terry Wogan in the commentary box for the Eurovision? That's in round 2, question 6. And I have to say, I think Graham is absolutely brilliant. Couldn't done it. Does a brilliant job every year. I think he's like, I know a lot of people would say he's no Terry, but I would disagree. I would say Graham brings his own to the proceedings. He's a brilliant presenter. And I do love the Father Ted connotations, the fact that it was a Eurovision episode of Father Ted and Graham Norton. But in which year did Graham Norton take over from Terry Wogan in the commentary box for the Eurovision commentary in the UK? And there's your roundup there of songs all about the Eurovision. So yes, round 2, question 1. Which country hosted the first ever Eurovision Song Contest in 1956? 2. Which Irish performer is the only person to win the Eurovision 3 times, twice as a singer and once as a songwriter? 3. Hard rock band Lordi secured a surprise victory for which country in 2006? 4. Which Australian singer represented the UK in 1996 with Just a Little Bit? 5. How many points did the UK give ABBA in 1974? And finally, in which year did Graham Norton take over from Terry Wogan in the commentary box? Well, questions all about the Eurovision there. We're going to move on to the next round in a bit. Don't forget, if you're looking a shout out at any point tonight, by all means do get in touch with me. Like, the best way I think is the Facebook page or the Instagram page, because I always get direct notifications of those. Twitter, I always kind of forget I have a Twitter account and then look through it and then I realize, oh, I've actually forgot to mention anyone who's stayed there. I know Cian Guckian, I know he's always playing with his family and friends around the world. Stephen O'Hara, I know you're always out there playing too, so it's good to hear from yourself as well. Lucy Taggart, I believe she's another regular player. But if you're also out there and you'd like a shout out, by all means do give me a buzz on my phone and I'll try my very best to get back to you. Okay, so next round, like I said, as one you're all very familiar with, it goes general knowledge, it goes movies, general knowledge, music, and tonight it's gonna go movies. Movies or TV. I don't think I've done a TV round in quite a while, but tonight's round is all going to be about Wes Anderson. Now, Wes Anderson, to the uninitiated, is an American director who's very, very famous for kind of very highly stylized indie films with, you know, great soundtracks. And one element that's been there since one of his very early movies, and it's Bill Murray. I've already done a Bill Murray round, but here's another one because he's one of my favorite actors of all time. I'm going to show you 6 Bill Murray appearances in Wes Anderson films. All you have to do is figure out which film it is. So here we go. Round 3, question number 1. What's round 3? Just basically, this is it. So yes, 6 appearances of Bill Murray in Wes Anderson films. All you have to do is match the film still to the movie. Now, I have to say Wes Anderson is definitely one of my favorite directors of all time. I love his style. I love the fashion of his movies. I love the color and the soundtracks, and I love the way the movies are framed and shot. All very centered. And they've got a lovely vintage feel to them. But yes, Bill Murray has been collaborating with Wes Anderson since 1998. In fact, that's his first one there, is number 1. And I've kind of got them in order of the year they came out, actually. So yeah, they're pretty much in order as the movies would have come out, been released. But yes, Bill Murray, anytime Wes Anderson picks up the phone, to Bill Murray, Bill Murray will be there. And they're wonderful movies if you haven't seen these yet. But on your answer sheet, you will see 6 movies there. So we got, in no particular order because I don't want to give them away. So we got Moonrise Kingdom, The Life Aquatic, Rushmore, The Grand Budapest Hotel, Fantastic Mr. Fox, and The Royal Tenenbaums. So yes, I'm pretty sure you'd be able to work out at least one of them. Or maybe 2. Maybe 3, actually. 3 of them, I think you'll need to kind of sit and figure out. But 3, it's pretty obvious in terms of you look at what's going on in the scenes themselves. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Match them to the movie. Match Bill Murray to the particular Wes Anderson film. I don't know why this round idea just came up in my head earlier on today, and I thought, you know what, I'll go with it. So match Bill Murray to the movie. So yes, round 3, Wes Anderson films and Bill Murray. Guy's an absolute legend. Totally love him. One of my favorite actors of all time. And like I said, I did a full Bill Murray round a couple of weeks ago. Really enjoyed writing that. It was really fun. But yes, round 3, all about Wes Anderson and Bill Murray. Match the movies. So, Moonrise Kingdom, The Life Aquatic, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Rushmore, Royal Tenenbaums, and The Grand Budapest Hotel. So, I'm pretty sure you can figure out which ones are which from that. Couple of minutes on those, and we'll move on to the next round. The time now is 22 minutes past 8. Coming on 23. I'll give you up to 24. Do you have a favorite Bill Murray movie? Let me know. Outside the Wes Anderson stuff, I have to say I do love him in Lost in Translation. Ghostbusters of all, as well, of course. Groundhog Day was genius. But yes, round 3, all about Bill Murray and Wes Anderson. Might do a special Wes Anderson round just about, but not about actual Bill Murray. See if I can leave him out. It's pretty hard to do that, though. So yes, 1 more minute left on that. 30 seconds, I'm going to move on. So the movies again: Moonrise Kingdom, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Rushmore, Grand Budapest Hotel, Life Aquatic, and The Royal Tenenbaums. Like I said, in no particular order, just match the movie to the film. Anyway, let's fire on to the next round. Anyway, yeah, it's actually giving me a taste to watch 1 or 2 of those again. It's been a while since I've binged watched them, but like I said, I've been very busy recently enough. If you're enjoying the quiz, don't forget you can donate to the Patreon and the PayPal as well. Like I said, I really do appreciate all the donations that I've been getting over the last couple of weeks and days. And like I said, I've got some news I'd like to share with you guys. Like I said, obviously, got some new business here and the new venture that I've started up in Warren Point. And if, like I said, you know, if you're looking any social media work done, any social media management, content creation, live streaming solutions, by all means, do get in touch with my company. And that's Elk Media. So that's Elk Creative Media. Look us up on Facebook. We're on all the different social media channels as well. I should really be plugging that. Because, yeah, this is like the perfect time to do that, I guess. Anyways, I hope you're all enjoying the quiz. And we're going to move on to the halfway point. It's round 4. Let's see what I've got in store for you. It's a history and politics round, of course. But this one all focuses on Korea. Now, this is an interesting one. Korea, site of a lot of Cold War conflict. And recently enough, like I said, is one of those relics from that era. Like, you know, North Korea having never really changed since the 40s and 50s. It's still very Stalinist in its way. And like I said, the conflict has never really officially ended between the two countries, North and South. But anyway, Questions all about Korea. Let's see how you get on with this. Round 4, question 1. Which Korean leader founded the DPRK in 1948? So that's round 4, question number 1. A little bit of a big ego, I think. Round 4, question 1. Which Korean leader founded the Democratic People's Republic of Korea in 1948, aka North Korea? All right, very, very important to get those correct. So yes, who founded North Korea all the way back in 1948? Next up, round 4, question 2. The Korean DMZ, or Demilitarized Zone, intersects which parallel line on the global map? I think I've asked this question before, but like I said, the conflict is still technically hot, although it's gone cold for quite a while. And they signed the armistice at the end of the Korean War in 1943, but it's just an armistice. There's no peace treaty. There's no ceasefire as such. Well, there is a ceasefire, but there's been outbreaks, skirmishes along the border, even some deaths. Round 4, question 2. The Korean DMZ intersects which parallel line on the global map? Next up, round 4, question 3. What is the capital city of South Korea? Not that far away from the DMZ, actually. Very, very, very close. And the actual capital city itself, they're actually considering moving the capital. So yes, it's an interesting time because I guess because they consider Pyongyang to be a bit too far away or too over congested. So I actually think they're building a brand new capital, which they're hoping to move everyone into by the end of the decade. Pretty interesting. So yes, what is the capital city of South Korea? That's round 4, question 3. Next up, round 4, question 4. Which US general infamously requested the use of nuclear weapons during the Korean War, but was rebuked by then President Harry Truman? Yes, he was famously fired and gave a speech saying old soldiers never die. A World War II hero, but split opinion about his use of nuclear weapons. That's round 4, question 4. Which US general infamously requested the use of nuclear weapons during the Korean War, but was rebuked and then fired by then President Harry Truman? And sticking with presidents, next one up, round 4, question 5. Which US president dubbed North Korea the axis of evil in a speech in 2002? So the other countries mentioned in that speech were Iran, Iraq, North Korea, yeah, that's pretty much it. Iran, Iraq, and North Korea. Considered the countries that had state-sponsored terrorism. But this was in a State of the Union address, and it was mentioned so yes, the axis of evil. But which president dubbed North Korea and Iran and Iraq as the axis of evil in a speech in 2002? And finally, round 4, question 6. The fictional exploits of the 4077th Mobile Army Surgical Hospital during the Korean War is portrayed in which TV show? That's actually a still from the movie, I think. No, it's one from the TV show. Oh. Yes, that's Alan Alda. It's the TV show. It was famously a movie as well. Hawkeye and But yes, set during the Korean War, the fictional exploits of the 4077th Mobile Army Surgical Hospital is portrayed in which television show? And there's your roundup questions all about Korea. Which Korean leader founded the DPRK in 1948? 2. The Korean DMZ intersects which parallel line on the global map? 3. What is the capital city of South Korea? 4. Which US general infamously requested the use of nuclear weapons during the Korean War? 5. Which US president dubbed North Korea the Axis of Evil, or part of the Axis of Evil, in a speech in 2002? And the fictional exploits of the Mobile Army Surgical Hospital during the Korean War is portrayed in which TV show? Give it a couple of seconds on that before we move on. Yes, indeed. Like I said, yeah, we're over the halfway point, and it's just come up to 8:30 here this evening, this Monday. The weather's been absolutely terrible over the weekend. Like, I managed to get out for 1 or 2 pints there in the beer garden at the first and last in Warren Point. But however, thankfully it's covered. We're still not getting the warmth, and it's just lashing all the time. Like, the weather's just been absolutely awful. Remember last year, I was doing the quiz at this time, looking out my window, and it was absolutely gorgeous. It's hard to believe, again, it's been so long, like, since I started doing these. But yes, don't forget, if you have any ideas, if you want to hire Big Nerd Pub Quiz at any point, by all means, get in touch. If you're looking at a socially distanced event or like a private quiz, any sort of questions, any kind of setup, by all means, do let me know. It's fully customizable, questions and graphics. It's perfect for social distancing. If you want more information on that, bignerdpubquiz@gmail.com. Check out all the other quizzes on the channel as well if you want to challenge yourself on a range of topics and events. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/bignerdpubquiz. And there's the Patreon and PayPal links. Thank you very much for all the support over the last year and a bit. Really do appreciate it. Like I said, the quiz is always free to play. And like I said, all the money that I've got, it's just kept me going and kept me making these quizzes. And it's amazing to think, looking back, how many questions I've actually written. It's quite remarkable. But anyway, thank you very much for joining me again. And we're moving on to the next round. And as you know, it's all about sport. And this year is going to be the year we finally get around to doing the Euros. Euro 2020 has famously been postponed to this year. They'll still call it Euro 2020, much like the Olympics. So, 6 questions all about the European Championship, the greatest international tournament after the World Cup, really. It's basically like it is the World Cup without Brazil and Argentina and a couple of those random other teams. But anyway, round 5, question number 1. Let's see how you do with these. So, which country won the first ever European Championship, as it's called, in 1960? So yes, the first ever European Championship was held in 1960. All the way back in 1960. Which country was the first one to pick it up? To lift the trophy. It's round 5, question 1. Next up, round 5, question 2. Which of these countries has never won the Euros? England, Portugal, Denmark, or Greece? So round 5, question 2. It's a great competition because a lot of these ones can throw up some surprises. Some underdogs can go all the way. But round 5, question 2. Which of these countries has never won the Euros? England, Portugal, Denmark, or Greece? It's round 5, question 2. Round 5, question 3. Which country is set to host the Euros in 2024? Cristiano Ronaldo there, holding up the European trophy. I forget which country he plays for, though. Someone remind me. Anyway, round 5, question 3. Which country is set to host the Euros in 2024? This year, famously, is going to be like a multinational one, but I think because of COVID, they've actually I think they're just going to put it in one country. Or from what I hear. Just got to keep a lot of them. In fact, I'm going to have a quick look at that because I know for a fact the final venue is still the same, and I'm going to ask a question about that at the end. And they're going to have VAR in it as well. Yeah, famously, Per Dublin was meant to have a couple of games, but they've been stripped of it, which is really unfortunate. But anyway. Next up, so yes, round 5, question 4. How many teams currently participate in the Euros? So yes, how many teams currently participate in the Euros? It started off, I think, just a selection of teams, very, very small, and then it's actually ballooned into like a full-blown summer-long competition. Round 5, question 4. How many teams participate in the Euros? Next up, the nostalgia. Probably the first big competition I remember watching from start to finish. Euro 96. I would have been about 10 years old. It was pretty magic. But which England player won the tournament Golden Boot in Euro 96? It was meant to come home that year. But sadly, it didn't. But you know what? The memories still live on. It was a fantastic tournament. Some amazing goals, some amazing performances. And it's amazing to see where some of those players are now. Gareth Southgate there at number 6. Now the England manager. But that was a classic tournament. Bedell and Skinner and had everything. Round 5, question 5. Which England player won the tournament's Golden Boot in Euro 96? And finally, which stadium is hosting this year's delayed 2020 Euros? Like I said before, the competition was to celebrate 60 years of the competition and wasn't given a definitive host country, but because of COVID regulations and stuff like that, they've actually had to strip one or two of the countries. Well, Ireland anyway. It'd be nice to have some of the games. But per Republic of Ireland, and I think they're the only country that actually not to have it not happen. Devastated. Well. But round 5, question 6. Which stadium is actually hosting this year's final for 2020? And there's your roundup there. So which country won the first ever European Championship in 1960? 2. Which of these countries has never won the Euros? England, Portugal, Denmark, or Greece? 3. Which country is set to host the 2024 Euros? 4. How many teams currently participate in the competition? Who won the Golden Boot in the England squad in Euro 96? And which stadium is hosting this year's final? I really do love a summer competition of football because it just really fills in your days, and I absolutely love the mad mashups, and I'm just to see some games coming back is an absolute amazement, and to see fans in the stadium in Wembley at the weekend for the FA Cup was just remarkable, and I got super jealous because I am a season ticket holder at West Ham, and going to football every Saturday and Sunday was just part of my life, and now it isn't. But yeah, hopefully things get back to normal. I'll be able to pop over to London now and again to go see my beloved Hammers. Anyway, so moving on to the next round number 6. Let's see what I've got lined up for you now. Round number 6 is all about inventions and inventors. I'm going to give you 6 very, very common items. All you have to do is name the inventors. Now, for the avoidance of doubt, these are the commonly well-known inventors of these things, okay? I know there's some dispute about who would have invented thing first, and I know different countries have different kind of takes on who would have actually came up with the idea. But out of the 4 that you see there, they're the most kind of concrete ones or kind of claims to be the inventor of certain things, just for the avoidance of doubt, because I like to copper broad on my questions. Anyway, here we go. Round 6, question 1. So, who invented, or who is famously known to have invented the television? Nice easy one to start off with. So, round 6, question 1. Who invented the TV? Who invented the TV? So that's round 6, question number 1. Who invented the telly? Ironically, the actual inventor itself, although inventing the actual invention, his type of invention didn't really actually get used, and it was a rival's method and was actually better. He kind of lost out, but he's still kind of recognized as the guy who invented it. Next up, round 6, question 2. Who invented Meccano? So who invented Meccano? I know there's a lot of people out there who really, really enjoy, or probably would have played Meccano with building things back when they were kids. But who actually invented Meccano? It's round 6, question 2. Next up, round 6, question 3. He's famously known for inventing dynamite. So who invented dynamite? So round 6, question 3. Who invented dynamite? Next up, round 6, question 4. Bit of a random one, this, but the bouncing bomb. Now, if you've ever watched the Dam Busters, what is the bouncing bomb? Okay, to explain, if you haven't seen the Dam Busters, it was a raid against a dam in the Ruhr Valley, and by the Allies knocking it out in World War II, using their famous Avro Lancaster bombers, it knocked out a significant part of industry in the Ruhr Valley. It was made into a famous movie in the 1950s. And the bouncing bomb itself was pretty unique in the fact that they would skim across the water, and the bomb would bounce. They put a backspin on it, and it was like a cylindrical, but it would bounce, hit off the side of the dam, sink, and then blow up. And if you ever watched the movie The Dam Busters, it's pretty much similar to the end of Star Wars. So George Lucas kind of got that idea. The trench run is basically the Dam Busters. But there you go, the bouncing bomb. That's what that is. Next up, kind of tied into that, military history and military technology, radar. Which scientist or inventor is credited with inventing radar? So, yes, round 6, question 5. Radar, which scientist is credited with inventing radar? And finally, round 6, question 6. Wonderful invention, this. And a wonderful inventor. Very sadly passed away a couple of years ago. But made this particular invention wind-up radio, and it's for developing nations, developing countries, for them to get information, because by having a dynamo, they could turn their radios on. They would never run out of battery. And once they had it, basically it would be a radio for life. But the wind-up radio, who invented that? There's your roundup of questions. Television, Meccano, dynamite, bouncing bomb, radar, and the wind-up radio. Who invented all of those things? Give you a couple of seconds there and move on to the next round. Alright, round 7 coming up. Like I said, when you write so many of these quizzes, sometimes you do hit a brick wall in terms of what to write them about. I thought round 7 last week was an arts and literature round. Kind of stick with that this week, but kind of just a general one. So no kind of special type of arts and literature round here tonight. Just kind of basic, standard questions all about books and poetry and stuff like that. But anyway, let's test your knowledge on that. Round 7, question 1. Nice general knowledge ones here for you tonight. So, who wrote the 1936 novel Gone with the Wind, on which the 1939 film of the same name was based? That's round 7, question number 1. Gone with the Wind. So Gone with the Wind. Gone with the Wind. Who wrote the novel? The 1936 novel Gone with the Wind, famously starring Clark Gable, Olivia de Havilland, who again recently passed away herself, Scarlett O'Hara there. Round 7, question 1. Next up, round 7, question 2. What was the real name of George Eliot? So round 7, question 2. George Eliot was a pseudonym. What was her real name? Round 7, question 2. Next up, round 7, question 3. Which was the first James Bond novel to be published by Ian Fleming? So Ian Fleming's famously created the character of James Bond, greatest super spy to ever live, famously portrayed by Sean Connery. But round 7, question 3 was the first James Bond novel to be published by Ian Fleming. Round 7, question 4, which was published first? Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice or Emily Bronte's Wuthering Heights? So which book came out first? It's round 7, question 4. The famous adaptation, Pride and Prejudice, with Colin Firth there. It's Mr. Darcy. But which of those books came out first? Was it Pride and Prejudice or Wuthering Heights? Next up, who is the current Poet Laureate of the UK? It's round 7, question 5. So round 7, question 5. Who is the current Poet Laureate of the United Kingdom? Coveted position. Very, very exalted position in poetry. And finally, round 7, question 6. What is Frankenstein's first name in Mary Shelley's famous novel of the same name? We all know that the name of Frankenstein is, of course, the scientist, the mad scientist who builds the monster, Frankenstein's monster. But I do hate it when people get so pedantic about that. It's just like, it's Frankenstein's not actually, that's Frankenstein's monster, not actually. I get it. But what is Frankenstein's first name in the Mary Shelley novel? It's one of the very first science fiction novels. And there's your roundup there. Questions all about arts and literature. So who wrote the 1936 novel Gone with the Wind? 2. What is the real name of writer George Eliot? 3. Which was the first James Bond novel to be published by Ian Fleming? 4. Which was published first, Pride and Prejudice or Wuthering Heights? 5. Who's the current Poet Laureate? And 6. What is Frankenstein's first name in the Mary Shelley novel? All right, we're coming up to the very, very last round, and I thought I'd make it nice and easy for you. And nice kind of relaxed, gentle one for you tonight. The final round tonight is, it's a long time since we've done it. It's a picture round. It's an emoji round. And found these online, thought they were very, very clever, and I thought I might as well recycle them and show you them tonight. So yes, these are game shows. So it is kind of a TV round tonight. I'm going to show you 6 very famous game shows. All you have to do is kind of work out which one I'm talking about when I post them. So yes, I'll give you a couple of seconds on each of these. It's going to be a quick fire round, so do prepare yourself. Because they are quite easy. So I am going to test you on speed with this one. And do try to work them out. All the answers are there. Just have to figure out which ones are which. So here we go. The emoji round. Fingers on buzzers. Let's see how you get on with these game shows. So here we go. I'm going to give you literally 15 seconds on each of these. Okay? 15 seconds. Okay? I've got my stop clock here. And I'm going to count. Okay, so 15 seconds on each. Here we go. Round 8, question 1. Let's go. So, what could this be? 7 seconds already. So round 8, question 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Next up. There's number 2. 15 seconds on each of these. Game show. All you do is work it out. Coming up on 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I've never done this before in terms of an actual timed round, but I figured these are quite simple. So you should be able to work these out. 11, 12 more seconds, 13, 14, and the next one straight up. I will give you 5 more seconds on each of these, and we'll go through them one more time. So halfway through this one, this is round 8, question 4. Have you worked out this one yet? Next up, round 8, question 5. A friend of mine's actually going to be on this show this week, this Thursday. And final one tonight, guys. There it is. Final one. You've got 15 seconds there. Probably process of elimination if you didn't get any of these. But yes. Quick fire one. 5 more seconds on these. And then I'm going to show you them again for 5 seconds each. So there we go. Next one. This is actually quite fun. I should do these actually more often. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and finally 6. There we go. Anyways, that is the end of it. Now, I have to say, that was quite fun for me even to do that, but I never thought of actually doing timed ones. I should have one with a countdown clock to test your knowledge, because I know some of those are actually quite easy. So I always think it's actually a bit easier. It's more interesting to actually test your knowledge against the clock itself. But anyway, that's been Big Nerd Pub Quiz for the 17th of May, 2021. Don't go anywhere. We're going to bring you back with all the answers and to see how you've done tonight. So hit submit on your answer sheet. You'll get your answers straight away at the very end. And then get back to me with... I'll get back to you with all the right answers and see where you went right and see where you went wrong. So don't go anywhere. Back pretty soon. All right, guys, got all the scores here tonight. You've all done very, very well. I have to say, great turnout as always this evening. But listen, big shout out to everyone from. I'll give you all shout outs at the very end and see how you all get on. But listen, thanks so much for tuning in tonight, as always. Let's get on with tonight's answers. So here we go. Answers for round number 1. Dave Bautista stars in Army of the Dead, which is coming on Netflix and later on in the week. Really looking forward to see that. Satya Nadella is the CEO of Microsoft. Wizard of Oz was written by Frank Baum. Little Mix won Best Group at this year's 2021 Brit Awards. Yuri Tillmans is Belgian. And Edwin Poots became leader of the DUP, believes the Earth is 6,000 years old. Switzerland hosted the first Eurovision Song Contest all the way back in 1956. Johnny Logan represented Eurovision 3 times, twice as a singer and once as a songwriter. Finland was Lordi's Rock Hallelujah. Gina D, Ooh Ah Just a Little Bit, brilliant song. Nil point. Imagine, the UK didn't think Waterloo was a good song and didn't like ABBA, give them nil point. Unbelievable. And Graham Norton took over from Terry Wogan in 2009. Those movies is Rushmore, The Royal Tenenbaums, The Life Aquatic, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Moonrise Kingdom, and The Grand Budapest Hotel are the movies. Just to show them to you again. So this first one, Rushmore, 1998, followed by 1999's Royal Tenenbaums, 2000 Royal Tenenbaums, 2004's The Life Aquatic. Sure, you probably would have worked that out. Fantastic Mr. Fox, goes without saying, 2006. Then 2012's Moonrise Kingdom, and a small cameo role in Grand Budapest Hotel. But I think you'll be able to work that out. So there you go, those are the Bill Murray ones. Questions all about Korea. Kim Il-sung was the first leader of the North Korea. 30th Parallel North was the parallel where the North Korean DMZ is. Seoul is the capital city of South Korea. Douglas MacArthur was the general that wanted to press the button on the Koreans back in the 1950s. George Bush Jr. was the one who said The Axis of Evil in 2002 following 9/11, and MASH set in Korea. First country to win the Euros back in 1960 was the Soviet Union. England has never won the Euros. Portugal, Denmark and Greece have famously stunned... Well, Portugal, a bit of a favourite with Cristiano Ronaldo, but Denmark and Greece came out of absolutely nowhere to win the Euros in 2004, and Denmark all the way back in 1992. So yes, but England never had the honour, although they have won the World Cup. Though you never hear about that, do you? Anyway, Germany is hosting the Euros in 2024. 24 teams take part in the competition. Alan Shearer won the Golden Boot from that fantastic England team in 1996, and it's a shame they didn't win it because they were really good. When you look at them on paper, it's like, wow, that was a really strong England team. And Wembley is the stadium which is going to host this year's delayed 2020 Euros. Next up, so the inventors of those items. So the television was invented by John Logie Baird. Frank Hornby, as Hornby train sets, also invented Meccano. Dynamite, Alfred Nobel, hence the Nobel Prize. Barnes Wallis invented the bouncing bomb. Heinrich Hertz was radar. And Trevor Bayliss was the inventor behind the wind-up radio. Margaret Mitchell wrote Gone with the Wind in 1936. George Eliot, his real name was Marianne Evans. First James Bond novel was Casino Royale. Pride and Prejudice was first published before Wuthering Heights. I think 1812 to 1824, something like that. Quite a bit of a difference between the two books in terms of age. Simon Armitage is the current poet laureate. And Frankenstein's first name is Victor. And finally, so those ones there, those emoji ones, which I was testing you on speed, you had catchphrase, blind date, family fortunes, mastermind, eggheads, and blockbusters. So have a wee look at those again. So we had catchphrase, right? Blind date, I think that was pretty obvious. Family fortunes. Mastermind. Eggheads. Finally, blockbusters. So blockbuster. There we go. Yeah, I know, bit cringy though, but there you go. Those are the answers for those. Those are the final scores tonight. Fair play to Quisling with a whopping 45 out of 48. The Myrtle All-Stars came in at 44 out of 48, along with the Lobsters, joint second. In third place, 42 out of 48 is us. Fair play to you. And Nuts the Germans and Dwayne Dibley, both in with an impressive score at 41. Big shout out to Quiz Christopherson, the Outlaws, Silent Fart, the B-Sharps, the Crows, Team Owens, Johnny Bow 123, Sting 20, Barney and the Dog, Magatron, Team Owens again, Kazi Team, John and Caroline, Rich and Nan, and Juno on the Paycock. Fair play to you all for taking part in tonight's quiz. Love seeing you all take part and enjoying yourselves. It's always great to see all the people taking part, and like it's really lovely to see all the support that I've been getting over the last year. I might have some news for you later on in the week. I am going to be taking a very long, hard decision about what I'm going to do with the quiz. I'm not going to kill it, definitely not. I love this thing. I love writing questions for quizzes and stuff like that. And I am considering starting to kind of branch out and start doing them live. So if you're probably living in the Belfast area, I'm going to see if I can pitch it to a couple of bars and see if I can make some money out of doing it that way. But also my job here at Elk Production is it's pretty heavy stuff. And like I said, I've taken on quite a lot of work in the last couple of days, and we've, like I said, just landed our first major client, which I'm very, very happy about. But it is going to take up a lot of my time, so I am going to be considering over this week what I'm going to be doing with the quiz itself. Like I said, Big Nerd Pub Quiz will not go away, but I might make them 1 month events, like really big events. Try to build up the audience a little bit more and make them more of a thing rather than just every week. But let me know what you think. Like I said, I've been really enjoying having the company here. I really do enjoy actually getting out and doing the quizzes themselves. And like I said, I do love it when people share it and let them friends know and everything. But it does come a time, I think, now, like it served its purpose in a way. Like I set up Big Nerd Pub Quiz as a way to kind of battle my own boredom during the first lockdown. And we've gone through that, and you know, everyone's getting the vaccine. I got mine there a couple of days ago myself, and you know, we're all coming out of it. So hopefully we won't have the need to do online events. We can all come out of our shells and go to the pub and go out and really just enjoy life as it is. But yes, do stay in touch. I will let you know my news later on in the week. Something kind of quiz related. I will keep you in the loop as well about that. And I'll let you know what the future is going to be. Like I said, Big Nerd Pub Quiz, going to end it on this, to be confirmed. So thank you for playing. The next Big Nerd Pub Quiz is to be confirmed. There's all the social media channels. Like I said, thank you for playing again this week. Time just passed 3 minutes past 9 there. Lovely solid hour. Thank you again for playing. Stay safe, whatever you're doing, wherever you are. Have a lovely evening and a great rest of your week. Good night, guys.